All right, President-elect Donald Trump's team now weighing in as a growing number of cities are reaffirming their status as sanctuary cities, shielding illegal immigrants from deportation. And now incoming White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus not ruling out cutting federal funding to places that refuse to follow the law. Watch.
I think this is a matter of negotiation. I think it's something that the Trump administration, myself and others included that are at the appropriate levels of government will deal with. But certainly I can't imagine that too many Americans are watching this and thinking that it's a good idea for a city to allow for blanket amnesty, ignoring federal law, and then saying, now give me $500 million. No, that's not the way life works.
All right, so how different is life going to be under a Trump administration for some of these big sanctuary cities, especially on the West Coast where you live, Los Angeles and San Francisco specifically?
Yeah, we've covered this a little bit. I covered the Kate Steinle case in San Francisco as well. My thing is, can't we find a happy medium here? In the sense that I understand my friends who I've interviewed or live in these cities who are in favor of sanctuary cities will say we want the minority communities not to be afraid to report crimes. Okay. Is there a way we can...
Special Order 40 with the LAPD.
Absolutely. Now, is there a way we can do that but still report when you have somebody arrested who's been, who's committed a crime, who's now being released from jail, who's not even supposed to be in the country legally? Why can't those individuals be separated out from the law-abiding folks who you want to report? Why can't we separate out those who are committing the crimes and then appropriately hand them over to our folks that will get them out of the country?
No, but it also creates a safer environment.
Absolutely.
Not only for people who come into this country, but also the communities where they live. And that way, we talk about assimilation in places like Western Europe and how immigration is so vastly different there. But here, it seems as though, this conversation that we're having right now is so incredibly divisive, and it really doesn't have to be. What does the Trump administration have to do in order to make immigration legal, safer, and more effective in this country without alienating people who want to come here, work hard, and have a better life?
I actually think this isn't a debate that's going to be had. Donald Trump, the first thing he said, build the wall, deport them. It's the cornerstone of his campaign. He won by huge margins, including former Obama voters who switched over to him. Americans don't want this nuanced conversation as much as some of us in the media do.
Yeah.
They just want people, Kate Steinle's family, maybe talk to them about how they feel about illegal immigration in these sanctuary cities. I have a huge problem with sanctuary cities. I love hearing Reince Priebus say cut them off, cut off their federal funding. My argument here is, okay, if they're allowed to break the law there, then how about I just don't pay taxes? How about that?
Now,
Let's
like
delineate.
The differentiation between, it's violent crimes versus other crimes. So if it's drug
still
crimes,
crime.
or if you rob my apartment, and you're here illegally, New York City it gives you sanctuary here.
Yeah.
You know what? Where the power is in the money.
Yes.
And $10 billion.
Yes.
There's more than $10 billion in just funding to New York City.
Yes.
You look at that map of all those sanctuary cities. You bear down on them and say you're not going to get federal funding. I guarantee.
Now, there's one big issue everybody's forgetting about. A lot of the people that live in these areas, in San Francisco, in some of the communities that are sanctuary cities, I speak Spanish. I've been out there. I've covered these stories. They don't want the crime in their neighborhood. They want the bad people out too. So it's my whole thing is, okay, fine. If you're somebody who can find a middle ground here, or if you want to get rid of them altogether, that's fine. But why can't we at least make a first step here? Because these communities, they don't want the criminals back. They want them gone. They don't want them in there.
What's interesting, too, is they haven't answered the question about DREAM Act students. I saw Reince Priebus talking about this. They said they don't know yet. And that's a whole different conversation because you're talking about people who are brought here as babies.
Well, maybe it's not so black and white, though. I mean, you're from a border state, Arizona, where Joe Arpaio was not reelected.
I don't think it's black and white. I think the whole swath of the American public want a simple answer to a complicated problem.
Yeah.
I never thought this would be easy for President Trump, but I do think, as much as some of us in the media want to have nuanced conversation about immigration, which God knows I've been trying to do for years, it doesn't matter. He won on Build the Wall.
Reince Priebus put it very simply when he said you can't ignore federal law and then ask for federal money and have it both ways. That's a very simple message, but Dagen, to go back to your point, over $10 billion is estimated at stake if they choose to withdraw federal funding. That's going to enact change.
Just from New York City.
Just New York City.
Yeah.
All right, but how about...
Listen, if you get arrested and you're here in this country illegally, explain to a reasonable person why you get to stay. I don't care what the crime is.
But there, you have to admit, there's a difference between coming into this country illegally, because we have a horrible immigration system where you have to wait in line for years, and someone who commits a violent felony. There is a difference between those people, and when they are conflated, it is an oversimplified argument.
I think robbery, even if it wasn't a violent crime, is a crime that's you're here illegally, it gets you sent back to where you came from.
All right. Well, the hit Broadway musical Hamilton, we're all going to break into song right now. Going off script a bit, a cast member lecturing Vice President-elect Mike Pence from the stage. President-elect Donald Trump demanding an apology. Fair game or the wrong time and place? We will discuss.